Buhari come to the U.S. to meet with President Trump to discuss security and the economy. President Donald Trump hosted President Buhari in the Oval Office of the White House, discussing issues of terrorism, security, trade, and the economy.
We are very grateful to the United States for agreeing to give us the aircraft we asked for, the spare parts. We are even more grateful for the physical presence of United States military specialists that go to our institutions in Nigeria and train them and go to the front in the northeast to see how they are performing as a result of the training given to them.
Also, we've had very serious problems with Christians who have been murdered, killed in Nigeria. We're going to be working on that problem and working on that problem very, very hard because we can't allow that to happen.
President Buhari went out to the Rose Garden with President Donald Trump for a joint press conference to provide details into the discussions in the Oval Office.
The government is taking necessary steps to promote the peaceful coexistence of herdsmen and farmers by focusing on boosting security and enforcing legislation that will guarantee borders and farmers access to land.
President Buhari did not allow the meeting with President Trump to end without congratulating him and praising him for his work.
I extend sincere congratulations to President Trump and his government on the impressive performance of the United States economy under his watch.
Thank you all very much. Thank you.
From Washington, Maria Bird, Channels Television News.
Let's think our teeth into this one. We've got Dr. Dakbo Thomas, who is an international law expert. He's also of the International Department of History and International Relations, Lagos State University. Thank you for coming on this morning, Doctor. Is this vintage Trump being point blank about this message to the president in terms of the attacks we had between herdsmen and farmers? Could he have said it any differently?
Well, I don't think that when it comes to situation where you're talking about lives, there is any kind of diplomatic way of putting it. It's straightforward. Killing is killing, murder is murder. It has nothing to do with with diplomatic language or maybe being so pointed and everything. No, this is the message. Possibly one of the issues which he felt it should drum very seriously, to the Nigerian government. And since the president was coming, so he felt that the major message he had, and like you have seen from the media reports, you will see that this made the headlines in virtually all the newspapers. So, it's a major thing which he felt was important to discuss with the president of Nigeria. Because in the first instance, he would not like U.S. to be associated or to be seen to be encouraging Nigeria, one of the largest and the biggest black nation in the world, in Africa, to be seen to be encouraging killings of innocent Christians. So that's why I think he made that the major issue.
Okay, now before this visit, there was this. Lots of people were looking to see what kind of things would the president say. Would he read extempore? How will his presentation be? What kind of impression are people going to get at the end of his meeting? So perhaps in that context and beyond, what would be your overall assessment of this particular visit and its implications for Nigeria?
Well, I want to say that in terms of the message which the president went with, to the United States, he actually focused on what he went there to do. He was talking about insurgency. He was talking about the role. He was talking about the role that U.S. is playing, and then he expects them that they should continue to play that kind of. They should continue to play that role, and he was also able to efficiently package the Tucano aircraft scenario or saga into its message that, well, we thank you for giving us the aircraft and for selling the aircraft to us and everything. And, you know, indirectly or maybe directly, Trump was also able to acknowledge the fact that, well, they have been helping Nigeria and they have sold the aircraft. So, and then the second one was the Fulani herdsmen, you know, and since Trump was talking about killing, that is unacceptable to America, that people should be killed or maybe Christians should be killed, you know, that way. So he also spoke about the Fulani herdsmen and the farmers' situation, and the situation in Benue and Plateau and Taraba and, you know, Northeast generally and the part of Middle Belt. And he was able to convey it convincingly that, well, it's not that the government was not doing anything. It was just a way of saying, look, one of the issues why I've come here is to be able to have sophisticated equipment to be able to tackle the security issues that we have in the Northeast and that we have in those areas. Because when you look at it, it's not easy to fight ISIS. You know, I sympathize with the president because if it took the whole US, maybe 10 years, 12 years to get ISIS out of Iraq, if he's taking Turkey a whole lot of time, years, you know, to get ISIS out of Syria, you know, the border which they share with Syria. ISIS is not an easy institution, an easy group to be able to dismantle. And he just came. He has spent 3 years. The kind of equipment, the kind of aircraft, the kind of armament which Nigeria needs to be able to surmount, because now all over the world, ISIS is being pushed, and our borders are very porous. Nigerian borders are very porous. So all the ISIS migrants, all the ISIS exiles, they are flocking. They are flooding into the Nigerian state. And that's why it's difficult to be able to fight Boko Haram, because Boko Haram has never hidden the fact that they are part and parcel of ISIS.